I still remember the first time I saw her. I was 19 years old, and it was love at first sight. We locked eyes from across the room, and I knew she was the one. But there was a problem. She was with a guy, and they seemed pretty much attached at the hip. I was too shy to approach her, and my chance encounter with her lasted only a few minutes. Fast forward a few months, and I see her again. This time I worked up the courage to talk to her, and we hit it off immediately. We talked for hours, and I learned that her name was Maria. She was going through a messy divorce and had a young son named Ethan. I was intrigued and wanted to get to know her better, but I was also nervous. As we continued to talk, I noticed that she was always on her phone and would excuse herself to talk to someone. She seemed distant, and I couldn't help but feel rejected by her. I didn't want to push her away, but I also didn't want to be ignored. One day, I decided to confront her about her behavior and asked her if everything was okay. She looked at me and broke down in tears. She explained that she had a stalker and that he had been harassing her and her son. I felt terrible for not realizing it earlier and for making things worse by pursuing her. But then something unexpected happened. She took my hand and said, "You're a good man. I can tell by the way you treat people and the kindness you've shown me. I need your help." She told me that her stalker was getting violent and that she was afraid for her and her son's safety. She asked if I could move in with her and protect her from him. Without hesitation, I agreed and moved in with her the next day. We didn't talk much about our feelings, but I was happy to have helped her. One day, while we were cooking dinner together, she turned to me and said, "Thank you for everything you've done for me. I don't know what I would have done without you." She leaned in and kissed me passionately. It was the best kiss of my life. From that moment on, we were inseparable. We faced many challenges together, but our love only grew stronger. She taught me the true meaning of love, sacrifice, and courage. And I will never forget the day that she became mine forever. I was only 16 years old and in love for the first time. My boyfriend and I were inseparable. We did everything together, talked all the time, and had plans for the future. He was my best friend and the only person I could imagine spending my life with. One day, he invited me to meet his parents. I was so excited to finally meet them and get their approval. I put on my favorite dress, did my makeup and hair, and we set off to their house. When we arrived, his parents weren't home. They had gone out for the evening, leaving me alone with my boyfriend in their huge empty house. We started to explore and found a guest bedroom with a big, comfortable bed. And well, you know, hormones took over and we ended up having sex. Afterwards, we heard some noises outside and assumed it was his parents coming home. We quickly got dressed and tried to leave the house through the front door. But as we opened it, we saw 2 police cars and several police officers. They asked us what we were doing there, and my boyfriend, being the idiot he is, said we were just about to break in when in fact we lived there. The cops didn't believe him and they searched the house. When they found out we were guests, they let us go with a warning. We were so scared that we didn't tell his parents what had happened until several months later. They were furious and grounded my boyfriend, forbidding him from seeing me again. I was devastated. I loved him so much, and I couldn't understand why his parents were being so cruel. But then something incredible happened. A few weeks later, I received a letter in the mail. It was from his mother, She invited me to have dinner with her and his father. I was confused, but accepted the invitation. When I arrived, they welcomed me warmly and apologized for what had happened. They told me that they knew what we had done and that they had called the police, but they didn't want to hurt me. They had seen how much their son had changed since I had come into his life, and they knew that he wasn't the same sweet boy they had raised. They told me that they wanted to give me one last chance to make things right between us, that if I loved their son, I should be willing to give up certain things to save our relationship. And that's when I learned a valuable lesson in love. A stranger's kindness can change your life forever. If you're ever lucky enough to experience it, don't waste it.